When you look at the millennial landscape in this post-COVID world, what are some of the biggest problems that you're seeing that you're focused on addressing?
So if you look at the sins committed by mass affluent consumers in personal finance, they are almost all overwhelmingly sins of omission, not commission. It's what they don't do that hurts them. They leave money sitting in a low or no interest bearing deposit account. They don't maximize the rewards and benefits from their credit card spend. They don't dollar cost average. These are all acts of omission, not commission. And a large part of the reason is the cognitive load, that how complex and hard it is to make informed, good decisions in this market. And there's a host of research that shows that when people have too much cognitive load, they end up doing nothing. And doing nothing is benefiting the big brand banks. And the biggest lie ever told, and maybe the most successful marketing campaign ever, that banking is free. It's not free. It's just the costs are hidden. And we should all be asking ourselves, if Chase keeps on year after year announcing record profits and yet banking is free, who's paying? And the answer is us. And we're paying because, in part, the big brand banks are not economically incentivized to make saving and investing easy. They've solved the problem of payments because it's in their economic benefit to make payments as easy as possible. And they know that the easier something is, the more people do of it, which is why Uber got rid of the payment functionality. Amazon Go got rid of the payment functionality. Amazon One Click. These are all designed to make paying for stuff easy. And the statistics are very, very clear. The easier it is to pay for stuff, the more we buy. If you had $100 in cash versus $100 on a credit card versus $100 on, some sort of layaway, you're always going to, the further removed you are from the physical act of handing over cash, the more you're going to buy.
Right.
And we know that, and the banks know that. Now, the banks have no economic incentive to make saving and investing easy. In fact, they have the opposite, because if you go and put your deposits into a Vanguard fund and pay 0.04% on those, Chase is earning nothing on that. So they have absolutely no economic incentive to make it easy for you. So what we're trying to do is solve the problem of cognitive load by doing what Uber did. We are taking away the effort so that our customers, by default and automatically, model best practices in personal financial management. And we hope that there's a decent proportion of the 15 million odd affluent millennials in the US market that respond and gravitate towards that idea.
Well, simplicity is really the only way to escape complexity. And by its inherent nature, money is extremely complex. And a lot of that is rooted in environment, childhood upbringing, behaviors, what they learn, what they think. And so when you look at not only the challenges, but on the opposite side of the coin, it's the opportunities. What are the opportunities? And one of them that you shared with me was almost a forcing function to help people establish new behaviors and new habits through the platform.
That's correct. Yeah. So we there's two things that we're doing. Well, in fact, there's a whole number of things, but the two things that tend to stand out that people notice is, number one, we're the only bank in the world with a comedy sketch team, and we're very proud of that. And that there's a good reason, good thinking behind that. Whether it works or not is another thing. And the second is that we force our customers to save and invest. We force them to adopt the behavior that they should be doing, whether they like it or not. Now, obviously, if they don't like it, they won't be a Unifimoney customer. But we require our customers, we have a minimum contribution. It's only $25, but we have a minimum contribution into the investment fund each month. We recommend it's 100 to 200. It can be as high as they want. But if you're a Unifimoney customer, you are dollar cost averaging. You are investing in a customized, risk-appropriate, low-cost, diversified robo-fund. And we hope that by forcing that function, people adopt it. People, the vast majority of millennials are not investing, even fewer below 30. So if you take that first step and that we assist and create that forcing function so they are investing, then we hope that over time they will get the confidence, they will learn by looking and seeing how that balance grows over time. And if they gravitate towards managing their own equity investments, if they gravitate towards crypto or gold or whatever else, then that's fantastic. But that first step is the hardest, and that's the step that we make mandatory.
It's almost like, you go to the gym and you get your gym membership, and that's step one. But then step two, to really see some transformation with health for the vast majority of people, is to get the gym membership plus the trainer.
It's consistency as well.
Yes.
Yeah. You need to, the 30% of people or millennials who invest are not necessarily investing in a very optimal way. If they invest in January because it's the new year and they want to get their finance ordered, they invest when Bitcoin's high or when Tesla is the great stock of the moment, and that's great fun, and there's a role for that, but investing should be super boring, at least the vast majority of the time, and it's very repetitive, and as human beings we tend to gravitate towards things that are new and exciting and different, and
shiny object.
Yeah, it's like investing is not designed to be well suited to our cognitive behavior and the way we think and the way we do. So we are not good at doing complex, repetitive tasks. Technology is great at doing complex, repetitive tasks.
Yes.
So we're simply using technology and some product design to try and make it as easy as possible. Well, we say, saving and investing as easy as paying for an Uber.
Yeah. Well, investing, I mean, it's another type of a journey, and it's like running a marathon. You start that marathon training program, and unless you've got an app to either A, hold you accountable and tell you what you need to do next, or B, you're running with a group, it's very hard to keep that long-term mindset once you get in. And I've run multiple marathons, because once you're getting up to 15, 20, 22 miles before you actually have the race, you can just get tired mentally and say, you know what, it's just not worth it, and you fall back on old behaviors. One of the things,
there's a very well-known psychological phenomenon that we're really very powerless to prevent. When we buy things, we get an instant hit.
Dopamine.
And it's a dopamine hit. It's like, oh, I won, I got something, it's great, and it's exciting. It doesn't last very long, but that's why it creates this cycle of sort of dependency and this cycle of reinforcement. You keep on buying things on Amazon because it's just feeling better and better and better. And the only way to retain that, and by the way, this is exactly the same thing as happens in drugs and alcohol abuse. We get used to that high. We want to keep that high going, which is how people end up spending too much. But when the payoff is maybe 30 or 40 years in the future, there is literally no dopamine hit in saving and investing. So we are already up against it psychologically and with our natural biases, human biases, that we are predicated to be buying more than we are saving and investing. And if you recognize that, that's the first step to managing that behavior and overcoming our own psychological limitations.
So awareness.
It's awareness, and then it's doing something about it, because awareness declines over time as well. And there's another very well-known, very well-researched psychological phenomenon whereby the further out a reward is, the more we discount it. So, when you're 20 and you're smoking because it makes you look cool in front of the girls, that's a very short-term sort of viewpoint. When you're 80 and you can tell someone, listen, you'll live 10 years longer if you stop smoking. And they're like, I don't care, it's too far in the future.
What's the payoff, right?
Yeah, if you're 80 years old and someone offers you 10 years more life, you're going to take that and give anything for it. And that's the same phenomenon, is that and we know this from pensions. How do you sell pensions to 25-year-olds? The government makes them do it.
Yeah.
Because there's no amount of work you can do to get enough people to save and invest when they're young, because they're invincible and they can't imagine a future where they're going to need that money. And so that, we are fighting human nature, and we need to use every tool we can to overcome it.